Hi, my name is Michael Campbell, and I just want to thank Lighthouse Harbor Ministry just for the opportunity to be able to address you all today. I would like to speak today about the concept of love. Now, we oftentimes think of love as, perhaps our parents' love, the love that we show maybe children, the love that we can show one another, love that we have perhaps for a food like poutine or something else. But today I want to talk about relational love. Love as it specifically relates to our interactions with each other. Now, 1 Corinthians 13:13 says this. So now faith, hope, and love abide, these three. But the greatest of these is love. This shows us that love is very, very important, even above faith and hope, which are two quite important things. Keeping in that same vein, Colossians 3:14 says this, and above all these put on love, which binds everything together in unity. This right here is very, very important because love will be the glue that keeps us together when times get tough. Love is the thing that will allow us to work together, to be together in close proximity for an extended period of time, even when the people around us aren't always the best. So that's a lot of talk about love, but what are some attributes of love? According to 1 Corinthians 13:4-8, there's a list of things that love does and that love is. And I would like to go through this list and just kind of unpack each one. So the first is that love is patient and kind. Love allows us to put our schedule on hold for the good of another. Love also allows us to go out of our way to help one another, to show affection for one another. It's not just enough to say that you love somebody, but actions speak louder than words. Therefore, we should show our love to other people. Love also does not envy or boast. You see, love is not comparison driven. In order to get love, we do not take love from something else. Rather, there is enough love to go around. And so rather than gaining self-confidence through comparison or affirmation through comparison, we can change that and begin to gain love through exhortation, through encouraging one another, through building one another up. Love also is not arrogant or rude, which means that love is not built in pride. Actually, love will put aside its own purposes in order to reach other people. And love will put aside its own ideals, its own mindsets for the sake of understanding. For as Stephen Covey said, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Love, continuing, does not insist on its own way. Love is unselfish. Love will compromise for the sake of another in order to keep unity. Now, that's not compromising values, that's not compromising foundational things, but being willing to let something slide or being willing to put down my own agenda so that another person can be elevated. Love is not irritable or resentful. Love will put up with things that people wouldn't normally put up with. Love will allow you to look past the personal differences that you have with someone, but still walk together in a way that you both are built up, that you both can be connected and be in relationship. Lastly, love does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. That's speaking to the fact that love stands up for what is right. But love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. Love never ends. You see, love is something that's foundational. Love is something that is at the core. And so love is going to take us further than any other attribute. And why do I say that? Well, that's because 1 John 4:8 says this, anyone who does not love does not know God, because God is love. Love is not good because God says it's good. Love is good because God is good. And one of the attributes consistent with God's nature is love. And so when we love one another, we are walking in what we were created to do. God created us to be in relationship. God created us to be in unity. And he created us to love one another. Now, love can sometimes be difficult to come by, and so I would be remiss if I didn't show you to the source of love. We just heard that God is love, but love is going to have to come from God. You see, we cannot self-generate love. We were not given that capacity, which is why at a lot of times we operate in a deficit because we do not have the right amount of love coming towards us. Maybe that's from our parents, or maybe it's from a spouse, or maybe it's from our friends. We don't feel affirmed, we don't feel loved, and so because we have a deficit, it is difficult to love others because we've been hurt, because we've been abandoned, different things. But there is a God who loved us before the foundation of the world. He loved us before we did anything good, and he loved us even knowing that we would do something bad. But God loved us so much that he would send his son to die on the cross for us. While we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. And so when I speak about love, it's not something we can generate. It's not something that we can pull out of our back pocket. Rather, love is something that is a gift from God that we get to steward, that we get to give to others. And so in knowing this, don't feel like you have to manufacture love. Don't feel like you have to fake love, but go to the source. And if you don't know Jesus, if you don't know the living God, then I would ask you to go. If someone around you has a Bible, read it. Read passages like John 13. Read passages like John 3. And get to know the God who loved you for you. Not because of what you did, but because of who you are. And when you can know his love, you will be able to steward that and be a mirror that reflects his love to all the people around you. And if you do know God, be a light. Be salt in the midst of where you are. Show love. Go beyond. Love extravagantly. And let your light shine before men, so that by seeing your good works, they will glorify your Father in heaven. Love isn't just a fancy attribute. Love is not just a thought process. Love is an action, and love is a lifestyle. Let's love one another.